Good morning once again and welcome to chapel. The Lord be with you. Many of you, if you've been in the school for a while, will remember that this time of year I often have somebody trailing me around, watching what I'm doing and trying to learn from me or what it means to be a school chaplain and a priest. I often have what's called an ordinand on placement. Ordinand means somebody who is training to be ordained, either a deacon or a priest in the Church of England. A few years ago, some of you will remember that we had Georgina Elsie with us, and I caught up with her recently and asked her to record a little video for us about what it means for her to now be ordained and working in the Diocese of London. So have a little look at this video and see what you think about her reflections.
Hello, my name is the Reverend Georgina Elsie. Some of you might remember me. I used to be on placement with Father Simon. I came into chapel a few times and I was around school a few times and I was in some lessons a few times. So if you recognise me, it's really good to see you again. And if you don't, I'm just a friend of Father Simon. I came into school because I was training to be a priest. I was on placement with Father Simon. Since my time in Durham, I've moved to London and started work at a church here. Now, if you did know me before, you might notice that I'm wearing something that I didn't have when I was in Durham. I now have one of these collars, just like Father Simon. That's because a few weeks ago, I got ordained as a deacon in the church. Now, one of the most important things about being an ordained clergyperson like me and Father Simon is that we were ordained by a bishop, who was ordained by a bishop before them, who was ordained by a bishop before them, and so it goes back and back and back through history until you reach the apostles, the disciples of Jesus. Being ordained by a bishop means that I have been blessed for a very specific type of God's work. So in the Church of England, we think of ourselves as a church that comes all the way from Jesus through people like me who've been ordained. This is my vocation, which is what God has called me to do and to be. But God's work isn't limited to just people who wear this sort of outfit. Everyone has a vocation. Everyone is called to do and be something God has called them to. In our Bible reading, we heard how Jesus breathed his spirit upon the apostles. This was a blessing, a bit like when the bishop blessed me. The disciples were celebrating and full of joy. And then Jesus said, "I am sending you." He was sending the disciples out to spread that celebration and joy. That is God's work that we share in. We all have a vocation to share the joy that God gives us with everyone else. That's what I'm doing here in London, and that's what you can do in school and at home and in Durham. And it's part of my vocation and Father Simon's vocation to encourage you in that and to help you. That's what the church is here for, to help you spread the celebration of joy of God. So now I've got to get back to that work. I'm really sorry I couldn't be with you, but it's been wonderful to talk to you, and I'll see you soon.
In the video, Georgina talks about our vocation. Sometimes we refer to it as our calling. What we feel called to do with our life, what we think we're on this planet to do, what our purpose is, and what we want to do with our lives. I wonder what you want to do when you leave school. I wonder what kinds of jobs you want to be involved in. I wonder what you want to study at university. Those are scientists who have studied our mental health and what can help us to flourish talk about the importance of us having values and goals. Goals are important because they're things we can aim at and cross off the list, but it's also important for us to have values as well, a sense of how we want to be living our lives. It's not just a question of goals and trying to achieve our ambitions, but also having values that guide us and point us in the right direction along the way. What kind of person do you want to be as you grow up and live your life? What do you want to be known for? How do you want your friends to see you? I wonder if you can spend some time this morning thinking about your vocation, your values, and the goals that you want to achieve in life.